The Celtic mythology. The legends of Celtic mythology. Celtic lands spread as far central areas of Europe. From the regions that are now Spain through Switzerland and even into Turkey. Celtic mythology comes from several regions and different tribes. The bulk of them are from Ireland and also Wales. Additional sources include Cornwall, Scotland, and the French region of Brittany. Celtic mythology is divided into 4 cycles or groups. The first is the mythological cycle that largely details a number of invasions of Ireland by deities or supernatural beings. The second, the Fenian cycle, revolves around the theme of hunting. In the Fenian cycle, a heroic group led by Fionn mac Cool protects the Irish and Scottish lands. Third is the Ultonian cycle, tells the tale of the Uli tribe through warfare and victory. And fourth is the King cycle, as a series of inspiring stories based on real kings. Dogda, the Dogda or good god, meaning the good or great god, was chief of the Tuatha De Danann, the foremost of the Irish ancestral gods. Highly skilled and wise beyond measure. He was the god of life and death, seasons, agriculture, fertility, magic and druidry. The Dogda was described as a giant man, oafish in both demeanor and attire. His beard was long and unruly and he wore a woolen cloak about his head. His clothing never fit right, that often exposing his stomach and buttocks. The Dogda often carried 3 sacred relics with him that define several of his many talents. The Corya Ansic, a cauldron that could produce a bountiful feast, one could never be found wanting in the company of the Dogda. The Lord Moor, a mighty club that possessed 2 distinct powers. Its head had the power to slay 9 men in a single swing, while its handle could revive the slain with but a touch. The Uath, an ornate harp carved of oak. This harp could place the seasons in the proper order and command the wills and emotions of men. With these potent abilities, the Dogda was often seen as a god of order, putting everything in its place, every time in its season, and every man to their rightful action. The Morrigan, or Phantom Queen, was a fearsome Celtic deity and Irish goddess of death, battle and destiny. A trio of sisters who appeared as a crow, she was the keeper of fate and purveyor of prophecy. Her husband was the Dogda, or the great god, who came to her for prophecy before major battles. She saw the future of all things, including the end of the world. She was all-knowing and would occasionally share her knowledge with others for a price. Her prophecies were never wrong and her wordings were exact if somewhat poetic. The Morrigan was a shapeshifter who took many forms. The most common of these forms were a shapely maiden, a battle-ready warrior queen, an old crone, a raven and other animals. Louth. Louth the Long Arm was the Irish god of kings, justice, and rulership. He is associated with skill and mastery in multiple disciplines including the arts. He is also associated with oaths, truth and the law. Louth served as chief Ullum of the Tuatha De Danann. He was also a cunning trickster and the wielder of Asal, the lightning spear which none could stand against. Cuchulainn, the great hero of the Ulster cycle. He was a man of great passions whose skills were rarely matched in battle. A proud warrior, he could fight back hordes of enemies with unmatched rage. He is the son and an incarnation of god Louth, which shared many characteristics with his father. He was the lover of fairy queens and enemy of many worthy foes. To this day he remains Ireland's best-known folk hero. He trained in Ireland and Scotland to become a powerful killing machine, and became the great warrior hero of the Ulster cycle. He defended Ulster from its many threats with an unstoppable rage and iron will. His skill was unmatched and he was more than capable of taking on many foes at once. Such was his strength and athletic ability that he was able to metabolize a sleeping potion in a mere hour. Danu. Danu was the mysterious Celtic mother goddess and ancestor of the Irish Tuatha De Danann. She was a wind or earth goddess that looked after her nomadic tribe. She also considered to be the goddess of fertility and of wisdom. She was believed to have suckled the gods. Many theorize that Danu was a great river goddess. In many parts of the Celtic world, the most powerful mother goddesses had ties to major bodies of water. The river Danube, which is one of Europe's longest rivers, may have been one of many rivers named in Danu's honor. Karenos. The horned god Karenos was a mysterious Gaelic deity associated with the woodlands. His other titles evolved often by modern neo-pagans such as Lord of the Wilds or God of Wild Places. A fertility god or god of life. In Gallo-Roman religion, Karenos was a deity depicted with antlers, seated cross-legged and is associated with stags, horned serpents, dogs, bulls and rats. He is usually holding or wearing a torque and has been seen holding a bag of coins or grain in a cornucopia. He ruled over pristine nature and uncivilized ways. Animals were his subjects and free-growing fruits and vegetables his bounty. He has the ability to bring natural enemies into peaceful communion with one another. This ability may have cast Karenos as a protector and provider amongst rural tribes and hunters. Bridget. Bridget was the daughter of the Dogda. She was the wife of High King Bress and mother of Rawdon. Bridget was the Irish goddess of spring, fertility, wisdom, poetry, protection, blacksmithing and life. She reigned over Imbolc, a winter holiday that marked the beginning of the Irish year. Tales of Bridget were told in every corner of Ireland and aspects of her lived on in the figure of Saint Bridget of Kildare. She was also known as the goddess of the wells due to her connection to wells and waterways. Angus. Angus was the chief poet of the Tuatha Dé Danann and son of the Dogda. His appearance was that of a young and beautiful man. He was often accompanied by birds that surrounded his head and acted as messengers and tormentors in equal measure. He was an Irish god of love, poetry and youth. His music and poetry charmed women, inspired kings and won his enemies' property from under their noses. He has the power over life and death, including the ability to resurrect the dead. This power was similar to that which resided in his father's mighty club. He has also the ability to shapeshift, another attribute inherited from his father. Caridwen. Caridwen is a Welsh white witch, a sorceress of great power. She has a great cauldron which she uses to create many potions, including the ability to imbue wisdom, beauty and prophecy. Caridwen is a powerful Welsh sorceress and one of the most powerful witches in Celtic mythology. She is blessed by the gift of poetic wisdom, inspiration and prophecy called collectively Awan in Welsh lore. She uses her gifts and her cauldron to help others. Arran. Arran is the Welsh lord of Anun. Anun is listed in different legends as an island off the coast of Wales, a cauldron or kingdom beneath the sea, or simply underground, described as a blessed paradise. He is a just ruler, beloved by his court and his queen, and he was a skilled magician able to switch his appearance for an entire year with the hero Puil. Kila. The Kila is the goddess of the winter months, and is said to control the weather and the winds as well as the length and harshness of winter. She has been feared and revered across Celtic cultures in Ireland, Scotland, and the Isle of Man for hundreds of years. Depicted as a veiled hag or an old crone, with one eye and deathly pale skin, she is said to have a bow-legged leaping gait striding across mountains with the power to shape and transform the landscapes as rocks fall from her gathered apron. Gwydion. Gwydion Fabdan was the great magician and trickster of the Welsh Mabinogi, the uncle of Llywelyn and defender of the kingdom of Gwynedd. Meadowv. Meadowv was the queen of Connaught in the Ulster cycle whose passions and ambition put her well above most men in Ireland. She is believed by some to be a manifestation of the sovereignty goddess. She clashed with King Conchobar of Ulster, grandfather of Cuchulainn. Bodb. Bodb Battle-Craw was one of the three sisters of the Morrigan. She was Irish goddess of war and death, who sowed fear and discord in combat and could turn the tide of battle. Nuada. Nuada of the Silver Hand was the first king of the Tuatha Dé Danann. He is mostly known from the tale in which he loses his arm or hand in battle, and thus his kingship, but regains it after being magically healed by Dian Cecht. Nuada is thought to have been a god associated with hunting and fishing.